The moon cast pale light over the canyon, silvering the jagged rocks. The gold wagons creaked forward, guarded by riders with tense hands near their holsters. Sheriff Durgan and Foreman Voss rode at the head, their eyes sharp but their greed sharper. From the cliffs above, Harlan's men waited in silence. Orrin clutched a hammer instead of a gun, his knuckles white. Leeway balanced his blade, calm as the desert wind. And hidden among the boulders, Ardan kept his shorthand notes pressed to his chest, his shield against lies. When the wagons halted, Durgan raised his hand. "Unload them here," he ordered. That was the signal. Before the first crate touched the ground, rifles cocked in the shadows, the canyon erupted in gunfire. Bullets sparked off stone, the smell of black powder choking the air. Horses screamed and men cursed as the ambush turned chaos. Ardan, crouched low, darted toward the lead wagon. Durgan spotted him. "The boy," he roared, drawing his revolver. But before the shot rang true, Harlan's rifle cracked. The sheriff's hat flew from his head as he staggered back, fury etched into every line of his face. Meanwhile, Voss scrambled for the gold, desperate to load saddlebags even as his men fell around him. "Take it," he bellowed. "Leave the rest." Ardan leapt onto the wagon, his hands snatching up the ledger hidden beneath the crates, the very book Voss kept of every bribe and theft. At last, proof enough to burn their empire. By dawn, the canyon floor was littered with broken wagons and the groans of the wounded. The U.S. Marshal strode through the dust, his badge catching the morning light. Durgan, bound and bleeding, spat at Ardan's feet. "You'll never be more than a slave boy in chains." Ardan met his gaze, steady and unflinching. "No," he said, holding up the ledger and his shorthand pages. "I'll be the one who ends yours." Voss tried to flee, dragging a sack of gold, but Orrin swung his hammer like thunder. The blow dropped the foreman to the earth, his greed finally silenced. The marshal's men took the prisoners away, and the stolen gold was returned to federal hands. News spread faster than wildfire. Garnet Ridge, long bent under the weight of corruption, stirred awake. Folks who once sneered at Ardan now tipped their hats in respect. The schoolteacher read his shorthand testimony aloud in the courthouse, her voice steady as iron. For the first time, the truth was not just whispered but carved into law. Sheriff Durgan's badge was stripped, Voss's holdings were seized. Felix Crow vanished into the desert, his trail uncertain, but his shadow no longer haunted the town. And in the quiet aftermath, Ardan stood taller, the chains of doubt finally broken. Life at Cinder Creek changed. Ardan was no longer just a hand at the ranch, he was family. Orrin taught him the forge, Harlan trusted him with the ledgers, and even Leeway lingered, watching the boy with something close to pride. One evening, as the sun bled red across the plains, Harlan spoke softly. "You've carried more weight than most grown men could bear. But you're free now, Ardan, free to leave, free to stay. The choice is yours." Ardan looked across the ranch, the horses, the fences he'd built, the table where laughter now lived. His voice trembled, but his words were sure. "I'll stay. This is home." Years later, the story of the boy from the auction was told in hushed admiration around campfires and classrooms. They spoke of Ardan Vale, who turned chains into strength and lies into truth. Garnet Ridge thrived, no longer a den of shadows but a place where justice carried weight. The shorthand pages Ardan once scribbled in secret were kept safe in the schoolhouse, proof that words could cut deeper than bullets. And every morning, as the sun rose over Cinder Creek, Ardan saddled his horse with quiet pride. He was no longer the boy bought on a stage, he was the man who had bought back his own freedom, and with it, the soul of a town.